Hello, I'm Rebekah Laur'en, Team Rayceen Productions co-host and moderator.
And I'm Erin Palmer, Team Rayceen Productions co-host and moderator.
Joining us is Sondra. Welcome.
Thank you. It's exciting to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for joining us. Please tell our viewers a little bit about your background and who you are.
Yeah, of course. So I'll start with my name. My name is Sondra Rose Marie, and my pronouns are she, her. I am the owner and editor-in-chief of Tagg Magazine, and I live in what's usually sunny San Diego with my wife, where I do all of my writing.
Awesome, sunny, but it's a little rainy there, right? But
Today it is.
Please share with our viewers some of your past projects and accomplishments.
Of course. So before I got involved with Tagg, I always wanted to be a writer. So I was doing a lot of freelance work. And I started with an organization called the Queer 26 or the 26. They've gone back and forth on name. And I wrote a piece for them about the lasting relevance of Set It Off, which kind of talked about this group of Black women living in a capitalist society. But also we really looked at the point of view of Queen Latifah's character, who's a stud, and we really don't get to see that representation often. So that was a really cool piece I did for them. Also, I was living in LA at the time, so I covered what to do when you don't want to go clubbing in LA. That's kind of like near and dear to my heart because I know not everybody in our community drinks and not everybody wants to go clubbing. At the time I was a bartender, so I couldn't go clubbing. Like by the time I got out of work, it was 4 a.m. Like I can't go clubbing. So what can I do out that's queer, that's fun, that's not clubbing? So I covered that and that was really cool. Also, while I was in LA, I got involved in the Rad Women Book Club and I ended up running it. It was awesome. It was a book club for women, femmes, and non-binary people of color, where we read books by people in our community and then just discussed them in a really safe space. I made a lot of friends there. I really enjoyed doing it, and I was super sad to move to San Diego and have to lose it because it was such an awesome group of people I met. And we read really good books. I'm a book nerd, so it was super fun for me. And then finally, I also wrote with Autostraddle. I had been wanting to get something in with them for a long time. I know they are one of the big sapphic websites on the internet. And so I talked a little bit about how I was a bartender for a long time while I was doing all my freelance writing. And so I used that to write an article here about becoming a bartender, which is one of my favorite things I've ever done.
Well, tell us what you don't do. This is a very impressive rundown and sounds like a lot of really cool projects. And we also want to congratulate you on being the new publisher of Tagg Magazine, which is a huge accomplishment as well. So please tell our viewers about the magazine, including the transition to becoming a digital publication.
Yeah, so Tagg was started in 2012 by Ebony Bell, and it was just designed to give queer women a space to go and see themselves. Unfortunately, a lot of like LGBTQ magazines were either very male focused or didn't have a lot of racial diversity. So Tagg's there to give that. We're also really inclusive of the non-binary and the trans community as well. And we just try to highlight all of the diversity in our community. Like we're not a monolith. And we have all of these interesting intersections. So that's what Tagg's there to do, is to kind of give everyone a safe corner of the internet. And I say internet because we're not publishing anymore. Up until last year, we were still publishing physical copies of the magazine, but as prices rise, but also as more and more people are going to the internet for everything, it just makes more sense to be where everybody is, which is on the internet. So now we are a fully digital publication.
That's awesome. Before becoming publisher, what was your involvement with Tagg and how did you end up taking over from Ebony Bell?
Okay, so I actually started out as just a contributing writer. I went to a film festival with a friend, and my friend's wife was like, I write for this magazine. You should meet the owner and write for them. So that was 5 years ago. And I wrote an article here and there, but before I knew it, I was writing features and cover stories, and that just kept growing. And then finally, when Ebony was ready to move on and pursue something different, she came to me and said, "Do you want to take over?" Which was a little bit of a surprise to me. But we talked it over and I was excited about it. So now we're here.
Awesome.
Pretty amazing. So what have been some of your favorite experiences with Tagg so far?
So I got to go to A Camp, which is Autostraddle puts on like a queer camp for 300 people in Northern California once a year. So I got to go to A Camp through Autostraddle, which was really cool. I went to Philadelphia to see all of the queer things in Philadelphia, which I didn't know it was like such a gay city. So that was cool. I've gotten to speak to a lot of celebrities. I spoke to Stephanie Beatrice at the height of like Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Niecy Nash and her wife, Jessica Betts. But I have to say my favorite thing about writing for Tagg, honestly, is just that I've connected with so many people I wouldn't have met otherwise. Like I get DMs from people that are like, "I read this article you wrote 3 years ago about dating and it helped me, while I was dating." And that's kind of cool, that something I wrote alone in my apartment like totally resonated with someone else.
Well, that is exciting. I can't wait to see what everything comes to be. And as we're speaking about that, what are your goals and ambitions for Tagg?
So Tagg up until now has been really DC focused, but as we talked about, I'm not in DC, I'm in San Diego. And we've noticed that Tagg's readership is kind of all over the country. We even have a few international readers. But at this point, I'd like to make it more national and really get into like the full diversity of our readership. And that's close to my heart just because I moved to Virginia from Appalachia. And a lot of people, when you say that, they're like, "Are there gay people in Appalachia?" Of course there are. And we have our own little communities and things. And I'd love to get those voices in Tagg and just, let city folks see what's happening out in the country and country folks see what's happening in the city, on top of also talking about like different abilities and different races and all the different diversity that's in this really beautiful community we have. So that's my goal, is to just be a safe corner of the internet for my people.
That's pretty amazing. And what kind of support are you getting? Like, are people are presumably buying in, but do you feel like the audience is growing, the support is growing, the involvement is growing?
It is. And I do feel like I think people were surprised by our change. So that's cool. People are like now watching, they're like, "What's going to happen next? I don't know. This is a big change." So we're having people donate, which is a really cool way to support us. It takes a lot of people to put even a digital magazine together. You all know that. So, we definitely love support in just a monthly donation. It doesn't matter how much. But then also people who run businesses or have some sway to business, advertising with us is also really cool and a great way to support. And then, of course, just reading our stuff and sharing it with other people. The more eyes who see us, the better.
Awesome. Well, viewers, please look in the description below for links. And Sondra, thank you again so much for spending time with us this evening. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
To those watching, please follow Team Rayceen on social media and subscribe to the Team Rayceen YouTube channel.
And viewers, thank you for watching.